on our plumbing and electrical systems, the parts we use, why we do it the way we do. So let's get into it. So first of all, let's look at the plumbing system. So you can see here we've got what we call our mechanical boxes. So on either side of the van we have a box, and it's built for the plumbing, and on the other side the electrical systems.
Okay, he calls it a mechanical box, and he has one for plumbing and he'll have one for the electrical system. And both of those boxes he will install all the components and everything and test them out in the workshop outside of the van. Then once they're completed, he'll move the entire system into the van and hook it up.
Now you can do them on either side. I recommend whichever side most of your plumbing is going to be on, do your plumbing on that side. So in this van that we're building this one for, there's just a sink on the driver's side, and there will also be an outdoor shower on the driver's side. So all our plumbing is going to be on the driver's side. So this one goes on the driver. Obviously then the electrical is going to go on the passenger side. You can switch those, really whatever works for you. We've done both. If your galley is on the passenger side, then you may want to put all of your plumbing on that side and your electrical on the driver's side. Doesn't really matter. So we really like to build these out of extruded aluminum. And the reason for that is the strength, the rigidity, and also the openness.
Yeah, I really like the extruded aluminum approach. It's lightweight, it's very strong, and it's easy to put together.
Really nothing in the back. The back is open. I've taken the front panel off just for this demonstration. So there will be a front panel with doors that open to access everything. But in the back, the only place we have anything is right here to mount all of our plumbing fixtures. And the reason for that is for weight, reduce weight, and also just airflow. Keep air flowing through everything. Now it's really nice to be able to build your systems on a bench or a table, because it's up at eye level. You're not having to squat down or bend over in a van. And if you do it with wood, it's a lot more difficult to do that because obviously with the extruded aluminum, we leave the entire panels off. We have access to everything. Once we pick up the whole box, and with two people, it's pretty easy to move this whole thing into a van, set it in place, attach it to the van walls and floor, and then put on your covers. And really it's just that simple. The other thing about the extruded aluminum, we're able to build this so that it holds this tank in place. You can see there's bars in the front, on the back, and on either end that will keep it from moving. And that just means more strength and more safety in your systems. So what we typically use is a 36-gallon over-the-wheel well tank from Northwest Conversions. Great tank, low center of gravity because it's sitting over your wheel well, and also because of the shape and because it has that part that that goes over the wheel well, it reduces the sloshing in the van when you're driving. If you just have one big open rectangular tank, the water's going to slosh all over the place as you drive.
Well, that's a really good point, to have a water tank that fits over the rear wheel well to help prevent the sloshing, instead of just having one big open tank where the water just freely sloshes about. That's a good idea.
So it kind of acts as a little bit of a baffle by having that over the wheel well. So we really, really highly recommend this type of a tank. So we've got some other videos on our plumbing systems, and in those we talk a lot about having our pickup line for the water pump going to the top of the tank. And that way works great, and we still do that. But what we found is with these Northwest Conversion vans, they have a couple of half-inch ports that are open on the bottom of the tanks, and they provide little plugs that you can put in. Well, part of the reason that we were going in through the top of the tank was just so you didn't have any fittings on the bottom, so that weight of the water and gravity isn't pushing and causing a leak. But with these Northwest Conversion tanks, they have really thick walls, really good places to attach your fittings. So even if you go in through the top, you're still going to have to put a plug in these holes, and there's still a potential for that to leak. So what we've done here is we've just used a brass nipple, put it in there, and attached our hose directly to that. So now it's coming out through here rather than going into the top.
So it's perfectly okay to have the water pump sitting on the top of the unit. And then if you've got some of those pre-drilled holes in the water tank, it's okay to use them at the bottom. As long as the fittings are proper, want to avoid any sort of possible leakage for sure.
Both work really well, but we just feel like with these tanks, this is really the best way to do it. So you notice here that we've used these braided hoses quite a bit. Most van builders, whether it's DIY or professionals, are using like a nylon braided tubing, and that works fine. But what I've found is if we ever have leaks, it's with this nylon tubing. So with these, you attach them to a barbed fitting, you put a hose clamp, you tighten the clamp down, and we typically heat these up to kind of soften them and help them mold around that barbed fitting and then tighten them down. But even with that, we'll typically, when we first test a system, we'll have 1 or 2 leaks in these and have to tighten them down, reheat them. And then we've also found customers a couple of times over time when they're in extreme temperatures, hot and cold, these can tend to leak and they have to go in there and tighten them back down. It's typically not a big deal to fix them, but we've just found that using this braided tubing with the fittings already on it, has washers, makes a really good seal, and these things, we've never had a leak with these.
Okay, so we want to avoid the nylon tubing and go for more of that braided metal tubing. I guess it's aluminum. Have to do some homework on that, kind of see what kind of tubing he's using. They do provide a parts list, so I can get that parts list and see what he's referring to.
So you can see
there.
we've used that coming out of the tank into the pump. Now this pump is one that we really like because it has a check valve in it, but it also has enough power that it can pull from the bottom of the tank. With a lot of pumps, they'll tell you to put it down low at this level of the bottom of the tank, but with this one, it can handle pumping that water up to the top of the tank.
And I like the water pump up top because it saves space. If I have to put it down at the bottom, it's going to take up more room. So if you have a water pump that's powerful enough to suck that water up through the tubing, placing it on top needs to be the way to go.
And it also does not require a pressure accumulator. You can still put one in, nothing wrong with it, but these pumps work great without it, so we typically don't put those in. So once we go through the water pump, we come out with another braided hose and into a manifold. And this manifold has 3 ports in it. So if we're doing a van with a sink and an outdoor shower, then we'll use a 3-port. If we have also an indoor shower, then we would use a 4-port manifold. So what it does is it distributes your water out more evenly. So we've got into this manifold, one of the ports goes to the sink, one of them goes to the outdoor shower, and then this one feeds our water heater. We put shut-off valves everywhere so that if you ever had a leak or a problem, you could isolate one of the parts. You could isolate the water and shut it off going to the water heater. You could shut it off going to the outdoor shower, and then you could also shut it off going to the sink. And then at the sink, we also have stop valves so that you can shut off the flow to the sink. So you can isolate the different parts of the system if that's ever needed.
Okay, so you can see with the 3-part manifold, you've got one pipe that goes to the outdoor shower and one that goes to the sink. And then that third middle valve goes into the water heater and returns up to the upper pipes, one going to the outdoor shower and one to the sink. So you've got water running through the water heater and then going up to the red piping at the top where it shows the heated water. And then the blue piping at the bottom is the unheated water.
Speaking of the water heater, I've got a whole video on this, but we really like this water heater. It's made by Isotemp, and it's made for marine applications, so it's really sturdy, durable, well insulated. It's a 4-gallon water heater, and it uses about 700 watts. and it'll heat your water in about 30 to 40 minutes. And then it will, even after you shut it off, that water will stay hot. We found overnight it stays really hot, and even 24 hours later it's pretty warm. So it doesn't use a lot of power, and it heats the water really efficiently. So we've got the cold water coming into that, and then there's a mixer on this so you can adjust the temperature. So the hot water comes out, goes to a T, where we then go to the sink and the outdoor shower. So we have hot water at both the sink and the outdoor shower. If you had an indoor shower, we would just add another line to go to that. So let's just say that you have a part that goes bad, like for example, your water pump or your water heater even, and you need to switch those out and put a new one in. All you've got to do is undo these fittings, take it out, redo the fittings. Same thing on the water heater. So it makes it really easy to work on things and change them out if you ever need to in the future.
Okay, so that's the plumbing. Tomorrow we'll take a look at the electrical system, but I just wanted to be sure I got in my head the way the plumbing worked. It's really interesting, and I think he did a great job of explaining it. So we'll take a look at the electrical system tomorrow.